Which is the best guitar pick for you? Wow, I can't believe I'm actually going to try and answer this one today in this video. Now, I've had a fair bit of luck recently answering questions like this, so I'm going to give it my best shot. But first, this guy. Hi, it's Andy from the future. Before I jump right into the video today, I've got a huge favour to ask. If you enjoyed the video, you found it informative, helpful, entertaining, anything like that, could you be so kind as to drop a like on the video? Leave a comment and say hi. YouTube is really competitive right now, and all the little free things such as likes, comments, anything like that, it really helps the channel out. Thank you so much. Back to the video. Sorry, I had to get that in there. Right, so which is the best guitar pick for you? I'm going to say, right, first off, that if you've been playing guitar for a while, you've probably tried every pick that's out there, and you've probably got a good idea of which pick is the right one for you. I mean, take me for instance. I'm a huge fan of the John Petrucci Jazz 3. It's like a regular Jazz 3, but a little bit bigger and has more grip. But I know that not everybody will like using this pick. It won't suit certain styles. But if you're relatively new to this whole guitar playing thing, then you might not even think there's a lot of difference between picks, and you just use whatever's lying around or whatever's cheapest, or the ones that come in the prettiest colours. But think about it this way, right? You have a type of guitar you like using. You're a Gibson guy, or a Fender guy, or whatever, or a Harley Benton guy. You spend good money on cables, and amps, and strings, and effects pedals, all that stuff. But you'd actually be surprised at how much your choice of pick will affect your playing and the way you sound. So, what are your options, and what's the best pick for you? Now, the material of a pick makes a huge difference on how it sounds and how it feels. Different materials have different properties that might be better for certain types of music. So here's some of the most common materials that are used to make guitar picks. First one, plastics. I mean, plastic is the most common material used for guitar picks. I mean, you've got nylon, Delrin, Tortex, Ultex. There's loads of different kinds of plastic, but it's plastic. They're just mixed differently. For instance, nylon picks are plastic, but they're known for their flexibility and durability, and they were developed as a replacement for tortoiseshell. That's a real thing. They used to make guitar picks out of tortoiseshell, and they produce a nice, warm, soft sound. Delrin picks, often called Tortex, are probably one of the most popular picks being used these days. It's a bit more rigid, less flexible, but they offer brilliant control and durability. Now, it's important to note that Ultex, Tortex, and all these words aren't scientific words. They're not descriptions of materials, but mere product descriptions. And I mean, if you go up to a scientist and say, what do you think about this Tortex? He's going to go, huh? Right, another one. Not as common, metal. It's often made out of stainless steel or brass. Metal guitar picks are a lot more rigid, as you can imagine, and a lot heavier than the plastic ones. And they produce a very assertive sound, which is excellent for really fast and precise playing. A lot of it's used in metal, rock, things like that. I mean, I remember reading that Billy Gibbons uses a peso, and Brian May out of Queen uses a sixpence. I've tried playing, because I wanted to sound like Brian May, I tried playing with a sixpence. I bought some off eBay, and it sucked. It just wasn't for me. So, metal guitar picks, not for everybody. Maybe if you're a bit more advanced. Another one is wood. Now, wooden picks aren't as common, but they do allow for a very unique and much warmer natural sound. They're usually thicker and less flexible than plastic or metal picks, obviously, and wooden picks are great for acoustic guitar and folk music because they just produce this like soft, round, warm sound. And another advantage is that they're very comfortable to hold even when you've got like greasy, sweaty hands, because it's wood. Right, another one is bone or horn. Bone or horn picks are very durable, and they produce a really bright, clear sound. They're often more expensive and less common, but they do offer brilliant control and precision. These guitar picks are often used where a very defined and articulated sound is desired, like in traditional or, you know, classical music styles. Obviously, they were one of the first materials that were around. So, the perfect plectrum. Shape and size. Very important. The shape and size of a pick can make a huge difference in playing and how it feels while you're playing. I don't know how long it took me to figure out what the best gripping pick was. I mean, it was a long-winded process till I ended up at the Petrucci Jazz 3. Several standard shapes have proven themselves over time, and they are the most used by guitarists, you know, the most recognizable ones. So here's some of the most common pick shapes and the characteristics. Okay, standard pick. For the guitar nerds out there, the legendary 351. Right, this is probably the best known pick shape. It's got a wide rounded top and a little pointy bit, and it's perfect for strumming and chord playing, things like that. Now, you won't find particularly sharp edges emphasized for like fast single note playing with these things. Standard picks are available in various materials and thicknesses and colours and everything. They're great for rock, pop, acoustic guitar. I mean, if you're in a bite, you can always use a standard pick. It's an absolute all-rounder, and you know, pretty much every guitarist has played with one of these at some point. Right, the Jazz 3. Now, the Jazz 3 is smaller and more pointed than a standard one, making it really good for fast, precise playing technique. Its sharp tip makes quick changes and detailed articulation a breeze, which is why it's a hit with jazz guitarists and metal guitarists. The compact size, the fact that it's so small, does actually take quite a lot of getting used to, but the control that you have over this pick is fantastic. I think the recent success of the Jazz 3 comes from a few highly regarded, you know, signature picks like John Petrucci. Petrucci one down here, that's the John Petrucci one. As you can see, that's actually a little bit bigger than the Jazz 3. Kirk Hammett uses them. Kirk Hammett uses these guys, these little green fellas. Joe Bonamassa and plenty of others. They all use Jazz 3, so you know, it's a good pick. Obviously, if these dudes are using it, it's going to make it popular. Right, another one. I don't actually have any of these lying around. This teardrop shaped pick. Right, another one. I don't actually have any of these lying around. A teardrop shaped picks. Now, these smaller picks are also tapered, but a bit rounder than Jazz 3, and they strike a good balance between precision and comfort, and they're great for both lead and rhythm playing. And their small size makes them really popular with guitarists who prefer a more, you know, direct feel with the strings. Teardrop picks are really versatile and work well for a variety of music styles, including blues and folk. Among Fender users, the teardrop picks are also known as 358s or 354s. Guitar nerds. So, pick thickness and its true meaning. The thickness of a guitar pick makes a big difference in the sound and feel. Thinner picks are much more flexible, and they offer less resistance when you're strumming, so they produce a softer, less defined sound. While thicker picks don't move, they're more rigid, and they produce a more precise experience and picking sensation. In my experience, thicker picks tend to feel more controlled. So if you're soloing, doing arpeggios and stuff, you know, a thicker pick really does help out. And like I say, you can really hit the string, you can really dig in, and you can feel where you are with it. But the drawback with thicker ones is when you're playing chords and strumming. If I'm strumming, you know, if I'm playing, you know, like a folky chord progression, I'll use a nice thin pick because it moves across the strings easier. But with a thicker pick, to me, it feels like it's catching the strings when you're strumming. So you might want to think about that. It all depends on what kind of music you're playing. So the market typically categorizes guitar picks as extra light, thin to light, medium, and heavy, and extra heavy. For simplicity, I'm just going to focus on thin, medium, and heavy. Alright, so thin picks. Here we go. kind of less than 0.5 millimeters, less than half a millimeter. Thin picks are very flexible and are great for strumming, gentle strumming and rhythmic playing. They produce a soft, bright sound with, they're popular with acoustic guitar players. The downside is that they don't give you much control, especially if you're like trying to, whack out a good solo or arpeggios or anything like that. Next up, medium picks. And they're kind of like half a millimeter to a millimeter. Now these picks strike a really good balance between flexibility and stiffness, so they're versatile. You can do some nice chord strummies, and if you need to do some picking out separate notes, then they're quite good for that. Many guitarists just prefer medium picks because you don't want to be like changing between picks and looking for different picks halfway through a song. So just about every guitarist has had like the green Tortex, because you can play rhythms, you can play solos. It's a handy pick. Next up, we've got thick picks. These picks are super stiff, and they're usually thicker than 1 millimeter, and they give you a lot of control, a lot of precision, and they produce a very powerful, assertive sound, and they're great for fast technical playing and shredding and lead guitar parts. Metal and jazz guitarists love thick picks. I mean, the Jazz 3 is, it's a good, thick, solid pick. They're stable and they produce a nice, good, clear, defined tone. So, yeah, reliability, control, and speed with thicker picks. Now, one thing a lot of people forget about when they're choosing a guitar pick is texture and grip, and what it's like to hold it. And the thing is, I find these guys, the little celluloid ones, I find them too slippy, and I end up gripping them really tight when I'm using them. And then after a few songs, they just look like this anyway. So, I always do this to my picks to get a better grip on them if it's a thin pick. But with the Jazz 3s and stuff, there's little, I don't know how well you can see on this camera, there's little markings and stuff on them, and they're really nice to hold. Especially the Petrucci one, there's a ton of grip on that one. So yeah, it depends how you play and the kind of music you're playing and how comfortable you feel with the pick. So, smooth guitar picks are great because they glide over the strings, and they sound amazing, and they give you a nice, consistent playing feel. Like I said, the downside is that, you can be mid-strum and they just fly out of your hand. So yeah, I would also always go for a textured pick, but again, that's just me. It's what you're used to. Now, another thing is special coatings, just like the Dunlop Max Grip, and some manufacturers make picks with special coatings or patterns that are designed to improve the grip. And I mean, again, if you've got that little bit of extra grip on your pick, then you've got more control. So, now we really get down to it. Which picks are best for which styles? The perfect guitar pick for rock metal. I mean, the Jazz 3 or the Tortex with the Tortex made of Delrin. You've got high control and you've got great grip. I mean, Jazz 3s are popular with shredders, just for the precision. I keep going on about precision, but and the tiny little point on it, and because it's so small, you're kind of forced to hold it, a bit further down, so you've got that bit of extra control. And like I said, they've got good grip on them and they prevent slipping. So yeah, for anything fast playing, anything that you're picking, a firmer pick with a good texture on. The Jazz 3 kind of ticks all the boxes there. And the same goes for jazz, right? I'm not a jazz player. I mean, I know a few jazz players, and again, they like the Jazz 3s, the smaller picks, the little tiny ones, but with the texture on them, because you've got the control. I mean, the end of it is smooth, so it glides in and out between the strings, but you're not going to drop that. Now, jazz players also do like using the bone and horn picks as well, just because of the sound it gives them. Like the best guitar pick for blues is probably going to be a medium thick guitar pick made of materials like Tortex or nylon. They're fantastic for blues music because you've got the good balance between the strumming and the picking. So, and I mean, you know, a good command of both is really important for blues. So, you know, teardrop plectrums are really good for blues as well, because they enable precise strokes and they produce a warm tone. I mean, your average blues guy is looking for a perfect balance, not too hard, not too soft, and you know, what you want in an amp is what you want in a guitar pick. So, acoustic, folk. If you played like acoustic guitar or folk, you want a thin pick. Thin pick. The Tortex ones are really good. They're flexible and, you know, they're good enough for gentle strumming and produce a really soft and bright sound. And that's what you want when you're strumming an acoustic. It works well in conjunction with the natural acoustics of the guitar. So, conclusion. What's the best guitar pick? Well, picking the best guitar pick it's subjective. It's really, really down to you. I mean, the only thing guitar picks on the whole, unless you're going for these silly boutique ones, they're not expensive. And, you know, just the thing is, I would say try them. Try as many as you can, because that's the only way you'll truly find out what works for you. But when you're trying a guitar pick, you know, play the songs that you normally play. Play the chords that you play like you play the chords. You know, play your solos like you play your solos. I mean, maybe you will, maybe you won't. You might find a pick that does everything. I mean, like I say, I'm happy with the Petrucci Jazz 3. That does everything for me, and I can do it. But if I ever am sitting down and just strumming some chords, then I prefer, like I say, even these little thin celluloid picks do the trick for me. So yeah, in conclusion, try them all, and you will find a guitar pick that suits you. Because it really is like a super important. I mean, the amount of people I know that have, like, you know, gone from like softer to harder picks, and like it's really, you know, it's improved their playing so quickly. But yeah, I mean, the thing is as well, you're never just going to know straight away. You need to have a bit of time and everything to get used to your pick. But yeah, there's some ideas and some help. So yeah, wow, I think I did it. That's probably my longest video ever, but there was a lot to cover. Feel free to jump in the comments with your recommendations, what kind of picks you use, what kind of music you play and what you do with them. And yeah, help each other out. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff, and don't forget I stream every Wednesday and every Saturday night at 9 PM UK time. It's called Guitar Nerds, and we'll just sit around and talk about guitars and stuff. If you want to follow me on my socials, I'll leave a link in the description. And yeah, that's it. Thanks again. Take it easy. Peace out.